What's going on YouTube? Welcome to today's video. This is going to be another one of my live Q&As with one of my clients. This was Austin, and by far I believe this is the most amount of weight we've lost in a 12-week period. I think in total for like my 3 years of coaching. So Austin lost, I believe, 31.6 pounds in 12 weeks, going from the 270s to I believe the 240s, so you see that right there. And also at the same time he lost 8.5 inches off of his waist measurement. That is also an all-time high as well. So Austin crushed it these past 12 weeks. What's interesting about his transformation too was the reason we were able to push him so hard and the rate of weight loss was because he was performing better as he was dropping weight. He wasn't feeling too hungry, and also we didn't have to dig his calories too crazy, which we'll also be going into this Q&A. So definitely enjoy this Q&A. I'm doing these typically most Tuesdays, 8 p.m. On my Instagram, and it's going to be live. So you can check that out. Again, great work to Austin. I hope you guys enjoyed this Q&A. And if you would like to apply for the 12-week Healthy Flex prescription, you can go to Hejnasty.com/coaching. And I'll probably put that right here. But enjoy this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. Awesome. All right, so I just want to start off by having you introduce yourself. So the way I usually want to start these off is just like, so you tell everyone your name, what you do for a living, and also, what were your goals for the 12 weeks in the Healthy Flex prescription?
Yeah, so my name is Austin. I'm in the Navy. Whenever I started off the program, I just wanted to lose like 15 or 20 pounds, and just, get like a better, like foundational knowledge about like working out, eating healthy, but still being able to like occasionally, eat whatever, not necessarily just, chicken and sweet potatoes and broccoli, but being able to like work other foods in,
Exactly. I think kind of touched on this earlier in the Q&A part of this. Again, we were trying to build that, you want to build that sustainability, something you can see yourself doing in the long term. Because I see it all the time. People will just go on these restrictive Tupperware diets, I call them, chicken and broccoli out of the Tupperware that's cold. And you can't really see yourself doing that then for more than a couple months at a time. So that's what my goal of mine is. As you've seen with my posts, also what I'm going to be posting later, I went to Cold Stone today. It was awesome. So you're still able to do these things, enjoy your food, and still get results like Austin did. But I do want to reference this. So Austin, how did our first, I think, week or two go in terms of nutrition?
Oh, it was horrible. Yeah, because I had already had like plans, like a friend was coming in town, and it was just a lot of bad decisions that first week.
Yeah, I was banging my head a little bit, but I think there were a couple of days, and this also, I like to kind of highlight these things because, like, Austin, in the beginning, you were not perfect, but you were damn good throughout the full 12 weeks. So again, with nutrition and stuff, there is leeway to mess up here and there. We also had Thanksgiving in the middle of this 12 weeks. So whenever you do fall off a little bit, there's always a way to get back on track. You still get great results. So that's why I like to highlight that. So what I want to do next, I do have to pull up your profile because I do want to highlight some of your transformation things, but I have them off the top of my head. So I think I have everything memorized. But 12 weeks ago, I do want to shout out like what you've accomplished. So 12 weeks ago, you were 272. We got you down to, I believe, 241. So 31 pounds lost in 12 weeks. Pretty aggressive, but we'll go into how that all came to be and why we rolled with it. Second, you lost 8.5. This is a new record. I think I mentioned like a week or two ago, we had a record, 7 inches lost off the waist. Then Austin had to finish. He lost 8.5 inches off of his waist. Went from a 46.5 to a 38. And then also, still, while that all happened, he put an inch onto his arms because strength training is awesome. So, do want to highlight you and celebrate you in that sense. But what I want to go into next, I have some questions for you. So, the first question is just how were you with your fitness before the program? So, when you reached out.
So yeah, whenever I first reached out, I was like the heaviest that I'd ever been. And, I hadn't ever, before that, I kept just going up in weight. And then whenever I would, try to work out, the diet, it was either the workout wasn't on track or the diet wasn't on track. It was always one or the other instead of having both where they needed to be, Yeah. Like, I don't know. I guess whenever I reached out, I was just kind of like desperate to to like fix it, you know? Like I was tired of it.
Good, good. And that's usually like that last straw hit. But I definitely want to touch on that, I guess, a little later. But how did you feel at that point? Like, how were your energies level? Because you said you were the heaviest you've ever been. So
Mhm.
like, how did you feel? Like, what was your energy like, and that stuff?
So like, I mean, it was pretty much just, like really tired, lethargic, like all the time. Um, I would wake up and like have a Red Bull or coffee on the way to work, and then while I was at work, I would have like another like energy drink or two, and then like if I was gonna go see friends after work, like I was picking up another energy drink. Like it was just like I was basically like only living off of energy drinks because I was just so tired all the time, you know?
Yeah, and that's also so you were like a gram of caffeine a day,
Yeah,
but
it was a lot.
yeah. But and then this is something I always like to reiterate is like once you start really committing to your fitness, you start seeing like it's kind of funny. It's called an energy deficit. So calories are quantification. It's a unit of energy. So you're in an energy deficit. You lost weight, but you actually got more energy throughout the day because you were exercising and your health was improving. So it's kind of what is I think the word is like a paradox or something like that. Just doesn't make sense because you're making yourself in an energy deficit, but it gives you more energy because you're healthier. Your body's just a better vessel to get shit done. So
Right.
what I want to talk next is so how did you find me?
I can't even remember like how I first started following you on Instagram because I'd been following you for like a year or two like before that, and yeah, I guess whenever I was like really heavy and like kind of feeling bad and like decided to do something, I saw one of the posts and like just went for it.
Awesome, awesome. Well, I'm glad that you did. What was that last straw? So I mentioned that I wanted to ask about this, but you said like you were getting to that point, you were at your heaviest. You mentioned that your nutrition was either on point and then your training sucked, or your training was on point and then your nutrition started to fall off. So what was that last straw that made you say, all right, like we got to do something about this. We got to commit to something.
It was probably like all the clothes that I was beginning to not be able to fit into. Like, like putting on like pants that normally always fit and then they were just too tight. And I was like, I'm not buying new pants, so something else has to change.
Are you back into those? Wait, actually, do those pants fit now?
Yeah, yeah, okay, they're loose now, but I also like today, like we have a uniform shirt that's like really tight. Like there's not much give to it at all. And today I wore a shirt to work that I haven't been able to wear since 2015.
Awesome, awesome.
Yeah.
So that's a big win right there. And also, like it's kind of funny that this is a really consistent. So with my new clients, we get onto like a call process, a call application process, and we talk about what the specific 12-week goals are. And very often it's I want to fit into my old pants, I want to fit into my old suits, stuff like that. And it's really cool to see that you also had those similar kind of. It's a confidence booster when you're able to get back into those. So happy we got that done.
Yeah, for sure.
So my next question for you is just, so what did you learn? So what did you learn in the realm of in fitness?
Um, I learned that like tracking food and like, calories and macros, all that is like it's not that hard. Like, going into it, it seems like really, intimidating and like, I don't even know like where to start, like how much of, like protein, fat, carbs, whatever. And, like once I got into it and like, being able to like message you and just like ask whatever random question I had, that helped a lot. But it's like it's not nearly as hard as a lot of people think it is, to just especially like with my fitness pal, just like tracking it like that. It's just so
Yeah,
easy.
like everything's there. The database is like ridiculously large, but definitely like as you said, it can be really intimidating, and that's even more intimidating when, as you said, like you didn't know where to start. And I was on a call the other day, and someone said, "Yeah, like looking on the internet, which is a dangerous thing to do with fitness. Looking on the internet, he
Mhm.
was like, I had four BMR calculators. One said eat 2,100 calories a day. The other said 2,700. The other one said like 1,900, and the other one was 3,000. It's like, who do I listen to here? And things like
Right.
that, there's a high variance, and that's just an average. So your individual needs, kind of, you may have to do some trial and error and figure that out. So in terms of you, Austin, by just having those like set for you and you just got to execute, that also just takes away some of that pressure.
Right. Yeah.
So maybe, so over the last 12 weeks, you mentioned like what you learned about fitness, but what did you learn about yourself?
Um, that I hate waking up in the morning to go to the gym. No, like that really, like I do, I just feel better in general, like, just having a regular, like routine that I go with. Um, like even though like waking up to go to the gym in the morning was really tough and sometimes it didn't happen, but whenever it did, it's like I felt like noticeably better like throughout the whole day, getting it out of the way like in the beginning and like having like, after work, I didn't have to worry about that. It was all done. I can just like, hang out and do whatever, whatever I want to do at the end of the day.
Did you feel, you say that you felt better throughout the day. Do you mean like in terms of like energy, confidence, or like how did you feel better?
Well, like energy for sure. And then like, as the program went on and like, kept losing weight and stuff, like the confidence definitely like started coming in a lot more too.
Awesome, awesome. And that's always like, especially with fitness, like you get more confident, like you're hitting PRs in the gym, you're seeing differences in your body. You get just a feeling of confidence in terms of fitness, but that doesn't stop there. Like that feeling of confidence lasts into your career, it lasts into your family life, your relationships, and then it's just you may be a little more optimistic if you're seeing progress. Because I know even me, like if I'm getting beaten down by training and my training's not going good, I'm a little like salty throughout the day. But it's good to see when you get that
Right.
progress. Like it can really correlate to how you're feeling. So it's really good that it was something that uplifted you.
Hmm.
So let's see, where are you now in terms of like emotionally, in terms of like confidence? So where would you say you're at now after the 12 weeks?
I would say like I'm in a much better place. Like, like throughout the past 12 weeks, like just, I guess like showing myself that, I can do this and like I can continue to do this. Um, like I, I would say it's like, like double the confidence, at least from what I began with, like, but, especially like, it's kind of like a low point whenever you're like, oh, this is the heaviest I've ever been. Like, these clothes don't fit and like all of this stuff. And, yeah, so like being able to, fit in old clothes, being able to like look in the mirror and just be like, obviously I can see a difference, and that makes a huge difference.
Great, great. Well, that's awesome to hear that you are feeling better, feeling more confident, and also like again fitting into those old clothes again. So next up, we're going to get into the specifics of the actual dieting, how nitty gritty we had to go. So my next couple questions are going to be regarding to like what kind of foods may have helped you along, like sticking to your macros and everything, that kind of stuff. Because also like we've heard about mashed cauliflower here. I didn't know that existed. Heard about Dennis's what was it, protein s'mores that he's bringing to my house next week, which I'm really pumped for. So we'll get into that, but I do want to tell everyone, do want to talk about how deep we had to dig in terms of your macros. So I usually like to highlight this because a lot of people, one thing that's out there is, again, these BMRs. So it'll say like, oh, I want to lose 20 pounds. Oh, eat 2,100 calories. It's not the same for everyone. And to see that weight loss, I don't know, it just went out over there. Hope Elon's okay. But in terms of weight loss, like not everyone's going to be dieting at that same amount of calories. Like some people are going to have to dig 1,400, 1,600. Females are going to have to dig 1,100. I've seen, if you're a very small female, you may have to dig into the 900 like realm. It's not too uncommon. Like I'll be curious. But in terms of Austin, complete difference. So this is going to show you the opposite of the but it's all relative because Austin, you were still hungry on like the amount of calories you had to go on, right?
Mm-hmm.
So at the deepest part when we were getting into our digging, so Austin, he was about 270 pounds. How tall are you?
6'4".
6'4". Tall guy. I'm 6'2", so he's taller than me. So we got long range of motion for bench press, so that's why we're terrible at it. At least that's why I tell myself. So your calories had to get down to like 2,200. So for me, for you, that's like us digging. 2,200 is us like getting pretty hungry just because we're tall, we're bigger, heavier people. So just because we have a lot of bone structure. So we didn't have to pull down into the sub 2,000 calories like someone who may be 50, 60, 70 pounds less from the start. But it's all relative because when I'm at 2,600 calories at the end of my cuts, I still have my appetite going off, and it's like, yo, eat more, because that's often telling that you're in a deficit. You're not, and I say this with 95% certainty, you will not make a significant weight loss transformation without an ounce of hunger. Can I pretty much say that 100%. So it's all relative with that. So what I want to get into now, I just want to preface with that. So what was your go-to meal that helps you adhere to a hypocaloric diet?
I think the go-to meal was probably like after the gym in the mornings, I would basically try to like do like almost like a protein bomb, you know, just like I would have like it was like 5 egg whites and then 3 eggs, like some like wheat toast. I would do like Greek yogurt, a protein shake. Like yeah, like I would like have a large amount right after the workout, and then normally I wouldn't eat again until like 1 or 2, and then even sometimes at work I just didn't eat, and then I would have to come home and then eat all of that food in the evening, and that really sucked.
It sucked eating all that food.
Yeah, like it was really hard sometimes. Like, you know, I'm up at like, you know, 10:30, like just eating chicken breast because I didn't have lunch, so I have to fit it in. But chicken breast was like another like obvious go-to, just because, you know, it's so easy to just pop them in the oven. On days where like, you know, I messed up, or not messed up, but like might have gone out to, you know, like Taco Bell or something with friends. It's like it's hard to fit that in there most of the time, but I would go there knowing like, okay, well, all I'm having for dinner is extra lean ground turkey. Like, you know, it's like being willing to like make that sacrifice of like, I'm doing this for lunch, but for dinner, I'm going to have, you know, this sad little turkey patty, and it's going to be okay.
Yeah, and especially like the way that I like to do those is I would kind of reverse it and be like, I'm looking forward to the Taco Bell, so I'm going to eat this really crappy turkey patty. But
well, that probably would have been a better way to do it, honestly.
Whatever works, because chalupas are delicious. So what's your go-to meal at Taco Bell, though?
I like the Cantina burrito with steak.
I haven't tried that one. I gotta give that a go.
It's really good. I mean, it's on like their, you know, like healthy menu. So there's a good bit of guac on there, and I can't remember what else.
It's like $1.20. The buffalo chicken mini quesadillas, game changer on a budget too. Game.
Okay.
I'm gonna try this. What was this burrito?
The Cantina, like steak Cantina burrito.
Steak Cantina. All right, because when I'm down in Delran, there's a Taco Bell like literally sharing the parking lot with my gym, so I'm just gonna walk over there and give me a Cantina burrito. So,
they're good.
Yeah, I got a lot of calories to play with right now.
Yeah.
So what was your?
And then like obviously the crunch wraps too, but those are kind of hard to fit in. I think they're like 570 calories. Like there were a lot of days where I like went into MyFitnessPal like, can I fit this in? But yeah, like just, you know, being willing to like make that sacrifice, or, you know, like adjust however I needed to.
Awesome. Yeah. So once you hit like, I know Lane Norris puts this really well. He's like, once you hit, so if you think of calories in terms of like budget, your macros in terms of like a budget, you got to pay your mortgage, you got to pay the important things first. So that would be like your fibers, vegetables, vegetables. Wow. Yeah. Protein as well. So there's nutrients. Those are usually the big 4 that I say you got to knock those out every day. But then if you knock those out and you still have like 2,000 calories to play with, or like over 1,000 calories to play with, you've already had 4 servings of vegetables. You've already hit your fiber. You can enjoy those calories, and you're going to be pretty solid. You're going to be very solid, actually, because not a lot of Americans get their 4 servings of vegetables, and it kind of makes me mad. But each of them, then. So actually, that goes right into our next question. So what was your go-to vegetable throughout the program?
Broccoli. Like,
My battery died for a
uh,
second.
oh, okay. Yeah, it was broccoli for sure.
Broccoli.
But But I mean, I love like most vegetables. There's no vegetable that I can think of that I don't like. You know, like broccoli, Brussels sprouts. I guess those were the main ones. You
Gotcha.
know.
Yeah, I usually have like a love-hate with Brussels sprouts. I know there's a video on YouTube actually for anyone watching. Matt Ogus made some really good Brussels sprouts with like French dressing, hot sauce, and just like pretty much broiled them. That was really good. How did you prepare? Like, what was
Mhm.
your go-to broccoli like preparation?
Broccoli was either just like roasted in the oven or steamed. Um, and then a lot of steamer bags. We talked about that,
I think
just
like
because they were
every
so
guy who
easy.
comes on here is going to mention the steamed bags, the frozen vegetables, because I swear by them.
Yeah, no, it was like I don't know how many times I had like broccoli or some vegetable in the fridge that went bad, and I was like, well, I'm just gonna buy steamer bags for the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, actually, I did the same mistake. I bought 2 packages of butternut squash. I was like, I'm totally going to put these in the oven for 45 minutes at some point because I don't work that much. But not the case. I think they're rotten and I got to throw them out. So frozen bags of vegetables for anyone who's watching.
Yeah.
So next question is, what is your best tip for anyone who's trying to, of course, like fix their weight, trying to get some weight loss? So what's your best tip to adhere to a lower calorie diet?
Um, I mean, I guess like for me, it was just like the like wanting to, like I mean, like not necessarily wanting to be adhering to it, but wanting the end goal of it, like anytime. With like pizza, a lot of times pizza is like really hard, if not impossible to fit in sometimes. And I didn't have like any legitimate pizza. I did all like these like pizza imitation recipes, but I didn't have any like legitimate pizza for 12 weeks. So, and it was like because I wanted to, get the results that I wanted. So I think, yeah, the main thing is just deciding like, this is what I'm going to do and like going with it.
Good, good. And just like that kind of comes with it. Like a lot of people, I love what you just said because I get this question all the time. It's like, how do you stay disciplined? How do you keep going to the gym? Like, how do you continue to maintain a healthy lifestyle? It's like kind of, there's no secret to it. You just kind of got to do it. Like, as you said, it's like you got to keep, there's two paths you can take. It's either you're going to, you're going to either regress in health or you're going to progress in health and you're going to get better. So it's really that choice is up to you. Do you value the fourth place of pizza more than your weight loss goals? And it's really going to be up to you to staying adherent or just making a commitment to making a change. And that's how you can, of course, make that transformation because the transformation starts with your habits. Then it's shown by what happens to your body. It doesn't just snap your fingers. So there's no quick fix. So I love what you just said there.
Yeah, like I mean, even like throughout the 12 weeks, I mean, even now, like this morning, like I didn't wake up and like spring out of bed. Like my alarm went off and I was rolling my eyes, and then like I went to sleep for another 5 minutes, and then it went off again, and I was like, fine, I'll do it, And I mean, once I'm up, it's fine, like I immediately just go to the kitchen and make pre-workout. I'm like good to go.
Nice, yeah, and like for me, like I have a double-edged sword. Like I just got two puppies. I don't, I don't recommend getting two puppies at one time. But when my alarm goes off, Elon is yelling at me like, "Yo, I gotta pee, man! Like get out of bed! Like it's 4 a.m. Like time to go." But for me, usually, and I've shown the amount of alarm clocks I have going, like on one of my like rotation videos on pharmacy school, and I literally have a 4 a.m., 4:02, 4:05, 4:10. I have at least 10 alarms in between 4 a.m. and 4:30. And that's the
Yeah.
only reason I get up.
Yeah, like I'm lucky. My dog, he'll stay asleep in bed until I leave for work. Like he doesn't care.
Oh,
But
lucky. But yeah, and
yeah.
then with that same thing is, and I hope I probably said this on like the last Q&A, but it's always gonna suck getting out of bed. It's gonna suck at getting out of bed at 11 a.m. or it's gonna suck at 4 a.m. It's kind of like choosing like when to do it because if you get up at 4 a.m., you're gonna have a lot more time to be productive. It's gonna suck at 10 a.m., but if you get up at that time, it still kind of sucks, but you missed a lot of that day. So that's kind of something I try to keep in my mind. It's like, if I sleep now, like, what is that going to accomplish? Push my workout back 4 hours. That pushes my work back 4 hours. And then nothing happens with that for me.
Yeah, like it helped me a lot to think like, I could sleep until 7, but that means after work I have to go, and I'm just one of those people like I hate going to the gym after work. So for me, a lot of the times that's what gave me that extra push to wake up.
Good, good. Yeah, just keeping that in mind. It's everything we do has a pro and a con or a cost and a benefit kind of thing. So my next question for you, and then we'll take some IG questions from anyone who's watching. So leave some questions down below for Austin and how he made drop 30 pounds in 12 weeks because that's awesome. So number 9 is going to be what's your biggest tip for full-time workers, people working a similar work schedule to you? What is your biggest tip for these kinds of people that want to improve their health?
Just the preparation is the biggest thing. There were some days, sometimes weeks, where I was really bad at preparing the food beforehand. So, for lunch, I'm either not eating because I don't feel like going to find something that'll fit. And then I'm oh, I'll just eat everything later and putting it off. Or, I'm trying to go to work in the morning after the gym, but I'm still trying to throw my lunch together before I go. And it just makes everything so much more complicated, whenever you're not prepared for it. Mm-hmm. Besides that, simplifying things, not, most of the time I wasn't doing these, because a lot of the, there's a lot of fitness recipes out there that it's 25 different ingredients and you're using all this weird flour and stuff. And it's just make it simple. Just chicken or ground turkey, a vegetable, and then maybe some rice, some sweet potato, whatever. Just simplify it. And it's you don't have to eat everything the same meal for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But at least just having that lunch and a snack to bring with you to work makes everything so much easier.
Yeah. Yeah.
I use the weekends to do the crazy recipes that I wanted to just have fun with and try new stuff,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I also get into that kind of same cycle, that kind of mental. I noticed, and now me looking back, of course, when I'm not in diet mode, because there's a different mentality when you're in bulk mode. It's just all right, I can eat whatever pretty much. But when you're dieting, it's all right, let me pick and choose my battles. So for me, I remember when I was in towards the end of my cut, I'm pretty hungry. I will spend 45 minutes or 30 minutes preparing 600 calories of black bean brownies, red velvet black bean brownies, red velvet cream cheese black bean brownies. Shout out to Belt Sander. He has a great recipe book. But I will do that at that time. But again, as you said, it's unnecessary, and everyone thinks if people think that they have to do that, it's overwhelming. It's an easy crutch to not get started.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
definitely, it's the easiest way is to simplify. That's why I always say worry about calories, worry about protein. Most things are going to fall into place. Then worry about your vegetables, your fiber, and if you knock out those 4 things, overall you're going to be in a good spot. And also, 5th thing will be exercise. So what I want to do next is just take on some. Boom, boom. So take on some questions. So I'm scrolling. How do you keep down the impact of bloating and inflammation? I guess I will cover this one. So inflammation goes down as you, as far as I've seen, inflammation goes down as you do lose weight. So chronic inflammation will be present if you are really obese. So taking that stress on your body away, you're going to also see that benefit. Bloating, in terms of if you have a very high fiber diet, maybe that's why you see, or if you have a high volume of vegetables, then of course drink enough water and you'll get things passing. But there's always going to be, even when I have a high serving of fiber, there's going to be some short-term bloating. It kind of is what it is. So let's see. Ricky Bobby, someone said. So let's see.
Yeah, that's my dog's name.
Some questions. If you have any questions, leave them down below. Let's see. How did you deal with the food when you traveled?
That was honestly either I would try to eat beforehand and pack some light snacks that would kind of hold me over until I got there, or beef jerky. Lots of beef jerky.
Gotcha. So where'd you have to travel during the last 12 weeks? Any big like trips that you had to like plan for?
Yeah, so I drove to New Orleans and then to Texas. That all together, that's like a 12-hour drive. And then um, driving back from Texas, those were both, really long trips. And it was mainly just like beef jerky, and really I got my carbs from Skittles.
Did you eat your vegetables in besides that for that day?
No,
All right.
I don't think I did.
The good thing is, as far as I've seen in regards to health, your body composition is going to be number one. And then, of course, like the rate of the digestion of your carbs isn't going to be the top priority, but of course, still hitting your vegetables and fibers. But in a whole weekly basis, if you can be 6 out of 7, that's still going to be better than being 0 for 7. So there's still going to be some good results there. So that's why I always say, like, prioritize body composition over, of course, anything else, because that has the biggest impact, even though you may not have hit your vegetables one day, because that's going to happen to everyone. So one thing that I want to ask you, because again, I found it really interesting that one, we got to diet on a pretty high amount of calories. Two, you were even pretty satiated throughout the process. You said like sometimes if you didn't eat your meals, the last meal when you had to catch up on calories, it was a struggle to get that food in. So what do you think really helped you stay more satiated on less calories than previous to the 12 weeks?
I think it was, just not eating like any like trash, like, eating like, the vegetables, like, pretty heavy protein. I think, most of the time I was at around like 200 grams for most of the 12 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was, it was like a pretty heavy amount of protein throughout the day, and, like spacing, I guess, the only time that I was really hungry was like just getting back from the gym, and then the rest of the day, like I'd like kind of like snack on stuff, and then the second bigger meal would be like in the evening. So
Yeah, and I've spoken of that. I think I have a YouTube video. It's like you should, if you are in a caloric deficit and you're not hungry, you probably shouldn't be eating at that point, because you're going to be hungry in 24 hours. It's all full of acute deficits and acute surpluses. So at some points, you're going to be in a short-term deficit and you're going to start feeling that. That's when you want to have a meal. But if like you're satiated, and then you like want to eat again just because it's X amount of time, I wouldn't say it's the best move. So you were really smart in that, like, you knew I'm really, really hungry after my workout, so let me focus the majority of my calories then. Mm-hmm. So that was a really wise decision. And I think anyone, if you know like what time you're hungry, probably should have the main amount of calories at that point.
Yeah.
So one question we got was, did burning extra calories during workouts allow you to eat more food? Depends on someone's strategy. So someone's coaching strategy. So for my clients, I usually say we're going to get a minimum of 4 days of strength training in, and that's going to add to their caloric expenditure throughout the week, but we're counting that as baseline. So as long as that's consistent every week to week, it's kind of like someone with a very busy job, and they're like, I don't know how to lose weight because I'm always working so much, or I'm always running around so much. It's like, that's your baseline. Everything that we do in this program is going to be in addition to that, because that's what's going to be a change. So if you're already doing 2,000 calories of cardio a day and you're not seeing weight loss, we need to reestablish a deficit. So then you would just have to do the 500 extra. Or in our case, if you add those workouts and that's consistent baseline, it's never changing. So that's kind of what I would say to that. It really depends what your strategy is. I like to aim for a baseline, and that's what I do with my own physical activity. I have a baseline of 400 calories of activity. If I go over that, I'll add a little bit of extra calories.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let me see. Any other questions? All right. I think that we covered everything in the questions. So, Austin, what is next for you? What is your next goal? I guess in the short term, what is your next goal?
The short term is to just keep it up. I'm gonna be moving soon, so just focusing on, getting the moving out of the way, and then just focusing on reestablishing a new new routines, and going into it with the different mindset of maintaining this kind of lifestyle.
Awesome, awesome. And I hope it's a lot more maintainable than some other kind of crash diet that you could have gone. So at least you now also have that, you have that knowledge of like what kind of calories you need to lose weight, what kind of calories can probably make you gain weight. We know if you're in the 2200, 2400, you're probably going to be in a good spot for maintenance. But once you start bringing it up 3K plus 4K, then we know we're going to be seeing some weight gain. So you have that peace of mind now, which is awesome.
Right. Yeah, definitely.
All right. So don't see any more questions. So thank you so much, Austin, for joining me for this Q&A. Thank you, everyone who tuned in and also gave in some questions. Should be doing another one of these next Tuesday. I still got to schedule who I'm going to be having on, but I'll let you guys know, of course, next Tuesday. Again, thank you so much to Austin, and also thank you so much for trusting with me to help you with those fitness goals 12 weeks ago. Very happy that we had such a successful relationship these last 12 weeks.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I mean, well, it was rough, but it was fun.
It was rough, but it was worth it. So
yeah,
that's
absolutely.
good. All right, everyone. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.